What's up, everybody? Welcome to Water. My name is Tyler, and I'm your real-life remembrancer. In today's video, we're checking out one of the coolest apps that I've seen hit the Warhammer community. It's a custom Datacard creation app, and it was posted to Reddit recently. It's really in its early stages, but it was exactly what I was looking for, and I cannot wait to show you how to use it. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So originally this was posted to Reddit. The Reddit user is Wiebe or Weeb. I don't know how to pronounce it. Wiebbe. So if you want to check him out, that would be great. I will also put the link to this Reddit post in the description down below. Definitely go give it an upvote and just check out the original post, kind of read through. There's definitely a lot of comments back and forth between he and I, both on the thread and in private, because I wanted to help him beta test it and I wanted to use it, quite frankly. So the link is game-datacards.eu. I will, of course, post that down in the description as well. And we can click over here, and this is the app. So you can see here on the left side, I've got a page and I've got all of the data cards that I've created. This is for my Deathwing Terminator army. These are all finished data cards. I've printed these out. I will show you how I printed them out and what they look like. It's super sweet in a little bit here, but I want to teach you guys how to use this because it's just an app that he created, on his own because he wanted something like this. And so it's constantly evolving. It's constantly getting new features added. And it's a little, it's kind of like sink or swim in terms of learning how to actually use it. So that's what this video is here to do, is to teach you guys how to use the app. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag my face down here so that you can kind of still see me. But this is the only section of the app that you don't need to see because there's nothing that spawns here. So what I'm going to do to show you guys how the card creation works and everything is just start with a fresh card. So I have talked to the maker and he says that he does plan for there to be like a multiple page functionality. So the idea is that you can build, the first page with however many cards you plan to print per page, and then you can build the second page and then print those out. The multiple page functionality doesn't quite exist yet. I'll show you guys in the settings how to make it all work. But yeah, you kind of just start out with one page and you add all the data cards that you want to the first page. So over here you can see select a faction. We'll pick something that I kind of sort of know. Where's some like Craft World Eldar? Where's Eldari? Oh, Craft Worlds. Okay. And then you can see there's a search function here. And you can look up basically any unit you want. So we'll look up Wind Riders. And here's the Wind Rider data card. So this is the base data card, and it's all default settings, everything like that. But what's really interesting is how much control you have. So you can see here, the first thing that you can open up is data sheets. And you'll notice that on the side here, there's all these numbers, and it shows you how many things are currently enabled out of all the features that could be enabled. So if you see here, there's a toggle here. We can show or disable the actual data sheet, the stat line. And if you have modifications to a unit that give you multiple stat lines, you can actually just add a fresh stat line and enter anything that you want. So for example, I'm completely making this up, by the way, just for the purpose of the example. Let's say Wind Riders had an ability where, if you have 3 of them within 2 inches of each other, they move 18 inches instead of 16 inches, right? A completely made up rule. But if you wanted to be able to remember that, you could create like a second stat line that says 18 inches, right? And you can type anything you want. And you could even type like 18, 3, right? And now you all know that it's only 18 inches when 3 of the models are together. And then you could go through and, put in all the other stats and everything like that. So you have complete control to type whatever you want into these stat lines. There's a whole section for invulns. So like if you had an invulnerable save, you could put like 5, or you could put 5++, however you want to do it. But I'll show you guys on some of the data cards that I have examples of how all these custom functions really help you. So let's just move on here. The next thing is the unit composition. Now, this is my favorite section because this is basically what I consider to be the free section, the free rule or the free writing section. So obviously, I don't know, in my opinion at least, none of this information matters, right? All of this information is stored in the codex. All of this information is assumed. The power rating is not something that needs to be referenced really like during the game. And the fact that you have twin shuriken catapults if you're playing a WYSIWYG army is also insinuated. But again, at the beginning of a game, you should really be handing your army list over to your opponent. And so all of this information should be written down somewhere else or otherwise available. You don't need it on this tiny little data card. So delete it and you can write whatever you want. So if you just want to leave yourself a little note that says, you know, if I have strands of fate dice on a roll of 3, make sure to put this other unit near this unit. Right. And I just realized that I should not be typing into the keyboard while I'm recording audio. I'm sorry about that. I'll try not to do that again or too much. But, you know, it's just a little note to yourself. So you can just like write whatever you want in here. You can be like, hey, if this unit is within 12 inches of an enemy unit, don't forget that you could use this stratagem to give you, you know, the ability to assault them from further away or charge them from further away, right? So there are all these super awesome ways that you can just utilize this, basically this free notes section as far as I'm concerned. Then if we move on, you see weapon profiles. Now, this is obviously the coolest part because you can just toggle weapons on and off based on what your model is actually equipped with on the list. And of course, you can make any edits that you want to the text as well. So they come with the default text from the codex. You know, shuriken cannon, each time you make a wound roll of 6 up for this weapon, that hit is resolved with an AP of -3 instead of 0. If you were running out of room on the card, you can shorten all of this to shorthand that you want to understand, right? So it'd be the equivalent of like printing this out and then taking a highlighter and highlighting the most important, right? So like you would highlight wound roll 6 up and then AP -3, right? Because those are the only 2 pieces of information that you need. You don't need all these filler words. So you could just, hit resolved, right? You can like reduce all of this. And suddenly you've like created more. Maybe I didn't get that down to one. Was that 3 lines before? Yeah, it was 3 lines. I got it down to 2 lines. So you can make a lot more space by just pulling shorthand in for this stuff. Again, you can just toggle it on and off. Abilities function the same way. So if you toggle the ability on, it will just list the ability. And then if you toggle the description on, it will add the description. And again, you can modify this description however you want, which is just super amazing. And then finally, there's keywords. And for most of mine, I ended up just turning the keywords off because they're at the bottom and they take up a lot of extra space. But if you have the space and you have an important keyword, for example, I think my apothecary, I put like apothecary there and just stuff like that because, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so that's basically how it works. And now I want to show you guys some examples of how I've utilized a lot of these features that exist. So if you look at the apothecary here, my Deathwing Apothecary, you can see I've got 2 of my keywords selected, Deathwing Apothecary and Apothecary, because those might come up. I have customized the, the abilities, the combat restoratives. I think I pretty much left this one. Actually, I guess I left these pretty much unedited. But you can see here in my unit composition, I just have Chief Apothecary, which is the rule, can combat restore twice. So I can use combat restoratives twice in 1 turn because he has the keyword Chief Apothecary. I've got all of that information stored in this one little 1-line sentence. It is amazing. And you can see the unit, this model also has a 5-up invuln because of one of the abilities, the Crux Terminatus. Probably turn that on if I wanted to. Oh, it is messing this up. That's why I turned it off. So instead of having Crux Terminatus there and having it take up space, I've just got it turned off, and I've just got the 5-up invuln inserted at the datasheet level. One of the examples that I wanted to give you for being able to add extra datasheets is vehicles. So if we look at my Land Raider Crusader, the standard Land Raider, I'll just show you. Let me pull up like a Land Raider Redeemer real quick. Apparently I can't type Space Marines. So if we look up like a Land Raider Redeemer, it's just got the one stat line. But as we know, vehicles change as they are affected through battle in 9th edition, well, in 8th edition as well. So if you go back to my Land Raider Crusader, you can see I've custom entered these sheets, and it basically says it's got the 10-inch, 5-inch, and 3-inch moves. And the way I've told myself how many wounds remaining and everything is in the wounds line, because you can type anything you want. It doesn't just have to be a static number. So the model has 16 total wounds and uses this stat line until it gets to 9. And then it uses this stat line from 5 to 8 wounds and this stat line from 1 to 4 wounds. And I just thought that was super cool. I love being able to just put all that information right there in the stat lines. I don't have to worry about it. You can see here in the unit composition, I've actually put the armaments that I'm equipped with, because, you know, down here you've got the weapon listed as Hurricane Bolter and all of that information. But it's important to remember you have 2 Hurricane Bolters on this tank. Seems obvious, but nice to have it there. 1 Twin Assault Cannon, 1. And so every time I go into my shooting phase, you know, I can be reminded like, okay, I get to do this one twice, etc., etc. So, excuse me, that's one of the interesting ways that you can utilize the multiple data sheets. Another way is in the Deathwing Knights. This second data sheet for the Nightmaster was toggled off by default, but you can toggle it on and get the Nightmaster's slightly different stat line, which is just 3 attacks versus 2 and 9 leadership versus 8. And then, of course, you can add the Flail of the Unforgiving that the Nightmaster takes. And, for example, the Storm Shield gives them a 4-up invuln, which I've placed here in the data sheet. But it also says add 1 to armor saving throws. So I have the reminder to myself in the unit composition, add 1 to armor saves. That way I don't have to remember that, you know, there's a second part to this rule at the bottom of my data card. It's just, boom, I have a 4-up invuln and I add 1 to armor saves. That's all I need to know. And if I need to prove it, you know, I have the reminder of what the full rule is down here. So that's pretty much it for how to use this, but there's a couple important quirks that I must tell you guys about, because if you don't know about this, you're going to either mess it up or it's not going to work for you. It's going to be very frustrating. So what we're going to do here real quick is we're going to go back to this Land Raider Redeemer, and you'll see there's this add card to page button, and you have to add the card to the page to keep it. So if I open another card right now, any changes that I made to this Land Raider will be destroyed. They won't be saved. So once you're finished editing a card, I'm finished, then you'll hit add card to page, and it will add to the page here. Now there's one other important element to this, which is that every time you go back to a card that you've already created and make edits, you have to click the Update Selected Card Save button. Now, the creator has told me that he's working on a functionality that like warns you, you know, like red text or something that he's working on to basically say, hey, don't forget rather to save your card. So for example, if I change this to I'm finished 9999, and I go about my business and I do whatever, that will go away. But if I click update, then it's saved and it's good to go. All right, and the last thing we're going to do here is we're going to hit this print cards button in the top left corner. It's going to pull up this page, which you can't see real quick. Let me get it up here on the video. Nope, that's the same thing. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right, so you'll get this page, and this will have your layout for printing. So he created this page after we had some issues where the cards were covering each other up. Now you can play with the number of cards per page, the number of cards per row, and the scaling of the cards. Now, the 9x3 setup is roughly going to fit into like Magic the Gathering card sleeves. I believe that was the original vision for these cards, was that you would print them out and then you'd have like a deck in like Magic the Gathering card sleeves. I ended up doing something a little different that I'll show you in a second at the end of the video, but just know that you can kind of play with this if you want there to be, you know, you can do one per page and make them 500 scaled, make them huge, right? One card per row rather. Well, okay, obviously 500 is too much. I messed that up, but you know, you can mess with it however you want. And get everything working that way. Let's just go back to 9 and 3 for the purpose of this. Oh, I froze it. Oh no. So sometimes you can freeze the app. Just remember, it's one guy and he's doing his best, and he did this for fun. And so sometimes it does crash. You can see I'm getting like a little crash here. Shouldn't have. Whoa. All right, so we got this pulled back up. Sorry about that. And then at the top of this window here, you're just going to right click. Doesn't show. I'm sorry, it's not showing on my recorder, but you're just going to go up to the top of this bar, right click, and there's, you know, a drop down, and you're going to click print. And that'll bring up this print screen. Now here's the crucial part. I'm going to move my camera back out of the way. Over here for a second. Just bear with me. All right. You're going to go to more settings. And down here, if you don't have this checked, it's going to look like this. So I believe most people by default, it's not checked. It was not checked for me. So again, let me just make myself visible. So it's going to look like this with none of the backgrounds and none of the little symbols and everything. You need to go into print and check this background graphics. And you can see it loads with all the graphics up there and everything's great. And then you can, of course, just click print, which is not visible on screen. Of course it's not. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so background graphics, if that wasn't visible before, this is the button. And you'll just click print and you're good to go. So that's how the app works. It's super sick, guys. I strongly recommend that you use this. And what I've made is this little number. Okay. This is what I'm calling my Mini-Codex. This is for my 2,000 point Deathwing Terminator army. And I bought this. It is a photo album, a cheapo sub $10 little photo album thing from Amazon. It was a 2-pack for like $8. Okay, it's made from like hard, plastic fibers, and I printed out the data cards 4x6, which is the photo size. Then I bought 4x6 index cards to give some sturdiness to it, and you'll see. Maybe you won't see that I've got these giant data cards that are super legible. And for me, the best part is that I can just, I can just read them from really far away, and I can flip through here, and I've got all my custom data card info for all my army. And, this just fits in my hand. I can walk around with this at a tournament. I'm going to be going to Nova and the Nova Open, and I'm doing some narrative campaign stuff there. And, I'll just be able to have this, and then I don't have to drag my giant codex around and all that stuff. Obviously, I'm going to add to this and have like the stratagems that I plan to use will be on their own note cards, and some reminders and some extra rules. I'll have some, like, for example, my Ancient, my Terminator chapter Ancient. He has like a whole page of rules with the auras and everything. So like I'll have that printed out, but I'm still gonna just slip it all into the photo album. So this is gonna be my codex at the event. So again, thank you all for listening. Go check out the links in the description to the original Reddit post. Be sure to give this guy an upvote. I told him that he needs to add a donate button. I would love to send him $5 on PayPal because this app has been amazing for me to use. I've absolutely loved it. But yeah, so go check out the original Reddit post and the link in the description. Let me know down below what your experience is with the app. And of course, if you like this video, please subscribe and go check out my other videos. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time.